Alright, here we go. This is Phantom Blood Chapter 20, The Miracle Energy. Or Jack the Ripper and Zappelli the Strange Part 2. See, this is why I don't want to keep using the dumb names. I know there's like an official term for them, like whether they're the English volume names or whatever, but they're dumb. I'm not saying Jack the Ripper and Zappelli the Strange like 4 to 5 times. I'm gonna say Chapter 20, The Miracle. Well, fuck, this isn't even Chapter 20. I'm fucking stupid. This is Chapter 19, The Miracle Energy. I don't know. I'm just too excited for Chapter 20, but this is Chapter 19, and we got a nice cover of Jonathan and Zappelli. They're looking pretty good. They got the English flag on Jonathan's little cowboy hat, and it's behind them too. That's cool. That's cool. Zappelli has these weird goggle things on his hat, and Zappelli's got a nice little bow tie on with polka dots. Well, maybe not polka dots, but dots. And I like Jonathan's little cowboy aesthetic. It's kind of what it looks like. Just a cowboy aesthetic. It's got that belt thing over his shoulder, some shoulder thingies, whatever you call those. Yeah, he looks good. He looks really good. Zappelli has this weird little snarl to his mouth. It's weird. It's weird, really weird. I also appreciate how Zappelli's nose is different from Jonathan's nose. I like that. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Let's get into it. Jonathan his compound fracture has been healed, so he can move his right arm again without any pain. He can even lift a small boulder, which is pretty nifty. And I didn't mention this last chapter, even though I probably should have, but for some reason, Araki really likes to draw Zappelli at this weird slant. And he does it throughout the part. I don't know why. I don't know if he just feels more comfortable drawing him that way, or if it's some sort of stylistic thing. I don't know, I couldn't tell you, but it's interesting, because it's the only character he really does that with. Well, yeah, Jonathan has a million questions, and Zappelli's like, hey, one question at a time, alright? And he says, as I said before, it's your breathing that took the pain away. I just helped you to breathe. And then we get this scene where he peppers his sandwich. He sneezes, and then he falls behind this little wall thing, and he disappears. And then he reappears behind them. I just love how extra all of that is. And he's like, okay, I'll show you the answer now. Follow me. So they follow him, and he's like, and if you see it and get to know me, your fate will change yet again. And then he flicks his pepper shaker, and then it starts to crack and break, and I don't get what the point of that is, but he goes to pepper his sandwich again, and he sneezes. And Jonathan's like, oh man, what a fucking weirdo, jeez. I guess it's true that he made my pain go away, but well, okay, whatever. I guess I'll go see what this guy has to show me. So they go maybe back to where the mansion was. There's some old rubble. Maybe it's just an old church or something. But they go down to this river, and there's a frog on a rock. And I think we all know where this is going. And Spelly's like, okay, I'll tell you my motives later, which is always a great thing. But first, let me explain what I did to you. And he's like, I'll show you the energy that breathing creates. And I've been researching this energy for years and years. And he says it's called Sendo, and this is the only time in the whole series it is called Sendo, specifically. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's called Sendo. And there's this weird panel where it's like it's his face and it kind of fades away into nothing, but like there's this weird bit of mustache to the right of his mustache, and it's weird. It's really weird. Then he stands, and then he makes this really weird face, and his eyes wide open. I get that it's just him like breathing in, but like it looks really exaggerated. And then he does this thing where there's like this cool effect with his hands. He like brings him down, and yeah, the water starts doing a thing around him, and it's ripples. It's rippling. And yeah, it's finally time for us to have this discussion. Am I going to call it the ripple, or am I going to call it hormone? You know, so the thing is, hormone is just Japanese for ripple. And that's literally what it is. It's rippling. It's causing ripples in things. That's what it is. It's, yeah. So, originally, I think I was just going to call it hormone. And honestly, I might just call it hormone and ripple interchangeably, but yeah, it's the ripple. It's ripple. You can boo me all you like, but yeah, so he's using the ripple, and it's rippling. And yeah, Zappelli says that he altered Jonathan's breathing by piercing his diaphragm, and it made him breathe in a special way. And yeah, he's talking about how it has to do with the blood and the oxygen in your blood, and how it comes from the lungs, and the oxygen in your blood has to do with the cells in your body, and those cells make up your body as a whole. And basically, it just works. It's oxygen. How you breathe affects the oxygen, which in turn affects the blood, which causes ripples. That's kind of how that works. And it turns into a ripple energy. And so he goes to show, we get this cool panel where he's like getting this battle cry on it. Look at his face. That's a pretty detailed drawing right there. You can see the anguish, the creases in his forehead. It looks really good. And he goes to punch the frog, and they're both like, "What the fuck, man? Don't punch the frog!" But he punches the frog, and the hormone from his fist goes into the frog, and the energy causes the boulder to break through clean, like right in half. But the frog is completely fine, and just goes on and swims. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh wow, how'd you do that?" He's like, "It's Sendo, hormone or ripple energy." Is the power behind Sendo. I like how even in this translation, we now have like 3 different words for this: hormone, ripple, and Sendo. That's funny. My hormone energy rippled through the frog's body and broke the rock. And we get this pose. A lot of you are probably going to recognize this from the anime, so it's kind of an iconic-ish pose, but like it looks really off in this one. Like especially his left arm, the perspective looks really jank. And he's saying that the mask and Sendo are 2 sides of the same coin, and that they're connected somehow. And he says the mask hasn't been destroyed, and it's in one piece, and Dio has it. How does he know that? Well, I guess he found Wang Chung somewhere talking about the Joestar Mansion fire, and so he investigated him, but he went missing shortly after. So yeah, I don't know who. Honestly, maybe Zappelli like paid him to try and find it, and that's why he was back at the mansion looking for it. Because like, yeah, he could have sold it on his own, but what if what if Zappelli offered him a good chunk of money to like get him the mask. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And Zappelli mentions that he's been looking for the mask for decades in order to destroy it and defeat any man who deems to wear it. That is why he continued to study Sendo. And he mentions that Jonathan is already destined to fight against the Stone Mask, that he must learn Hamon, or he will meet an untimely end with him and the rest of humanity. And Rena's like, he's like, hey, Jonathan, what the hell is all this? And Jonathan's thinking to himself, oh shit, I can't get her involved. She's just a normal human being. I can't let her get hurt by this. And there's this panel where there's like this statue in the water, I think. I think it's a statue. Could be a human. I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. And Jonathan grabs onto this branch. It's this one scene, and it like the branch starts growing flowers, and Spelly's like, "Holy fucking shit! This kid's a prodigy! Hot damn! You really must be the one to defeat Dio, huh? You really is the one who was gonna save the world." And yeah, it's the Hamon energy leaving Jonathan's body. It's left over from when he healed his arm. It's leaving his body and going to the tree branch and giving the tree branch life, which is pretty cool. I really like that scene, because it's kind of an allegory for kindness, in a sense, that his leftover kindness is going on to this other thing to give this other thing life. And yeah, we can kind of see what Zappelli was talking about too, with like Hamon and the mask being two sides of the same coin, because like the vampirism drains life, but Hamon can give life, which is pretty nifty. And yeah, that's chapter 19. That's the chapter. It's going pretty good. Pretty good chapter, I would say. We finally have seen Hamon proper. We technically saw it last chapter for the first time, but we have a proper introduction to it now, and we're only like almost halfway through the part 1. And yeah, it's gonna, yeah, it's a good chapter.